Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our literary March Madness. I know we're all missing the real deal, but last week I unveiled my Elite Eight, my top 8 basketball books that I've ever read. And I appreciate all of the comments and suggestions. So now today we're going to unveil the final 4. And one note before we get there, I'm only going to move on the books that I've read, so not the books that I've written. So the blue team is not going to move on to the final 4. But anyway, I've got 4 good books. Well, anyway, so let's move on to the final 4. First off, another novel, Blind Your Ponies, set in Montana, small high school town. It's just such a fantastic read. I think you're going to love this one if you've never read it or heard about it. Loose Balls by Terry Pluto, reading it right now for the second time. It is so funny. And again, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so I remember that funky old red, white, and blue ball shooting around my backyard. So you'll love this book. David Halberstam, Breaks of the Game. This is kind of the standard bearer. It's so well written, and it's a great look at the NBA, kind of pre Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. It's a fascinating story. And finally, the last pick, Janae, was the tough one. Okay, the final spot in the final 4 was between Heaven is a Playground and Counting Coup. So Heaven is a Playground, set in the city, Brooklyn, 1970s. A great look at the inner city game and the life that those guys lived. And then Counting Coup, set on an Indian reservation in Montana. You know, a lot of people play high school basketball. Some move on to college, very few play in the pros. So most of us can relate to a story about high school basketball. So I had to go with Counting Coup. It is a great read. So there's your final 4. Counting Coup, Breaks of the Game, Loose Balls, and then Blind Your Ponies. Keep your comments coming. Next week, I will unveil who's going to move on to the championship game. In the meantime, we're going to stay safe, keep our social distance, but we can still connect like this over social media. See you next week.